Chapter 3. Designing Your Story. Bill, a young handsome man, was an architect by profession. He was married to the daughter of the owner of a large building company. He had been asked many times by his father-in-law to join his company, where he would have a secure financial future for his family. Bill was a proud man and wanted to build his own business and succeed in providing a good standard of living for his wife by his own efforts. But business had not worked out so well for Bill, and, after he lost a large contract, he found himself in a position where he had little option but to take the offer of employment from his father-in-law. Knowing the type of proud man that Bill was, his father and mother-in-law invited him and their daughter over for dinner to discuss the future. Bill was not looking forward to it. After a pleasant meal, Bill's father-in-law brought him into his home office to look over some building blueprints he had on his desk. They were the plans for a beautiful home. Bill's father-in-law explained that he had been thinking of building a house for himself and his wife for many years and had finally decided to do it. He wanted Bill to look after the job as his first task for the company. Bill's father-in-law explained that he would give him free rein over the purchase of the materials and the choosing of the contractors. He said he would put his budget amount in an account, and any money Bill managed to save on the budget he could keep as a bonus. They agreed, shook hands, and Bill set about organizing the plan. He decided that he could cut some corners by using less expensive materials and cheaper contractors. He thought, "Sure, my in-laws are getting on in years now. They won't be around to see any defects that show up in a few years' time." Soon the time arrived when the work on the house was complete. Bill knew he had bought some materials that were not the best quality, but the decorators had done a great job of covering up the defects. He knew that the trees and flowers he had planted in the landscaped gardens would only last a few years before they would die off. But he also knew that he had managed to save quite a lot from the budget, and it would pay off most of his outstanding debts. He felt a little guilty, but pushed those thoughts to the back of his mind. The house looked great, at least for now, and he knew his wife would be proud of him. Bill's father-in-law arranged to bring his wife to meet Bill and their daughter in the house for a celebration and the handover of the key. As they stood out on the balcony overlooking the beautifully landscaped gardens, champagne in hand, Bill's father-in-law started a little speech. "Bill, we know you are a proud man and would rather build your own business than work for our company. We know you want to provide the best lifestyle for our daughter, and we're very happy with that. Since we've never been able to buy a gift that shows just how proud we are of both of you, we have decided to give you this beautiful house, which you have put so much into building, as your home to start your family in. We know you will have very many happy years living here." Imagine deciding to build a designer home without any picture in your mind of how you want it to look, how many rooms it would have, what size they should be, what type of heating, how many lights or power points, how many windows, where the stairs should be, etc. Would you start without any architectural knowledge, building experience, trade skills, or understanding of the precepts which are laid out for good building practices? Would you be willing to jump in and just take it as it comes? What are the chances that it would turn out to be strong, secure, beautiful, and functional? What chances would you take knowing that you were going to have to live in it for your whole life? Imagine deciding to build a designer life without actually having an image in your mind of what that would look like. No blueprints for who you want to be, what you want to do, no knowledge of the precepts which could support such a life, and no understanding of how to build the character needed to sustain it. Would you be willing to just jump in and just take it as it comes? What are the chances that it would turn out to be strong, secure, beautiful, and functional? What chances would you take knowing that you were going to have to live in it for your whole life? Is that you? Perhaps you imagine the kind of life where you somehow had a successful career that you loved and were appreciated in, no work stress or financial worries. A life where you look forward to each new day knowing that you have something exciting to do and interesting people to do it with. Did you imagine a secure life, great home, nice clothes, good car, quality holidays, money in your pocket, happy partner, and happy children? Have you ever wondered how come that didn't work out? Have you given up, or do you ever allow your mind to wander into that place now? Do you find yourself thinking, other people live like that, but it's just not meant to be for me? Or, I just didn't get the breaks, or maybe someday. Take a minute to remember back 5 years ago. What did your life look like then? Were you happy with it? Has there been any significant change since then? If you keep doing what you are doing, will it be any different in 5 years' time? Let me ask you some questions. 1. Who designed the life you are living at the moment? 2. Whose knowledge and experience of life have you followed? 3. Have you taken the time to learn the laws for designer living? 4. Did you know such laws existed? 5. Is your life strong, secure, beautiful, and functional? 6. Has your attitude to life been, "I'll just take it as it comes"? If you have not made a specific plan, then by default, you've chosen the "take it as it comes" option. 7. Who can you blame for the current state of your life? I realize that curiosity is the key to discovery. Asking the right questions and pursuing the answers leads one into new territories of knowledge and understanding. I discovered that you don't need a specific level of education, a piece of paper declaring your level of intelligence, or a certificate of competence to set out on a journey to find out who you are and what life has in store for you. I wasn't setting out to change the whole world, just my world. I was aware that this journey would necessarily lead me into the unknown, and when you venture into the unknown, you cross a line from comfort to discomfort, from certainty to uncertainty, from a perceived order to chaos. Setting out on such a journey of self-discovery takes an understanding that failure will almost certainly play a part on the way to success. It's even necessary that it does. There are 4 stages to learning. It starts with being unconsciously incompetent. That means we don't know something, and we don't even know that we don't know it. The second stage is consciously incompetent. This is when we realize that there is something, but we don't know much about it or how to do it. The third stage is consciously competent. That's when we learn to do something, but we have to concentrate when we're doing it. The fourth stage is unconsciously competent, and that's when we can do that thing with little or no conscious effort. Let's take driving a car, for example. There was a time when you didn't know how to drive or anything about driving, but it didn't bother you because it wasn't in your frame of reference. You didn't know how to drive, but you didn't even know that you didn't know. That was stage 1. Then you realized you wanted to learn how to drive, but didn't know how to. That's stage 2. Then you started learning. You weren't very good at it and you knew it, but as you took your lessons, you got fairly good so long as you kept your concentration on it. That was stage 3. Now you can drive without thinking of each gear change. You can talk and drive at the same time, etc. That's stage 4. So, how does that apply to building a better life? There are things we are not aware of that, if we were, would give us a better shot at building the life we want. Most people cannot accept that they are the architects of the life they are living. They say that I'm not a negative person, I haven't brought about my current circumstances by my thinking. I've done the best that I can do, at least the best that I know how to do. Yes, it's a bitter pill to swallow. I know, I've had to swallow it myself. But I figured, if I was living a very successful life right now, I would want to take full responsibility for it. I would want everyone to know that I did it my way, I'm clever, I'm above average, I'm special. If that's true, can I really push the blame for my less than satisfactory life onto someone else? Is it not 2 ends of the same stick? You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of them. Physics says that your reality is created from your perception. Neuroscience says that your brain controls your biochemistry. Religion says that you are created in the image and likeness of the Creator. And spirituality says that life doesn't happen to you, it happens from you. If you have created your own hardships, maybe you can uncreate them. Don't put up barriers or let someone talk you out of your desires. Everything outside nature was once a creative idea in someone's head. Your ideas are powerful. Life gives you what you believe, not what you want. Does the mind not believe everything it thinks? You are designed to win, but often programmed to lose. My friend and author, Charles Tremendous Jones, once told me the following story. Patty and Mick have been working together for over a year. They eat their lunch together. Every day, Patty opens his lunchbox with an exclamation. "Not cheese and pickle sandwiches again. I'm fed up with cheese and pickle sandwiches." Finally, after hearing the same cry from his friend at every lunchtime, Mick says, "Patty, why don't you tell your wife you don't want cheese and pickle sandwiches anymore?" Patty, throwing an accusing look at Mick, says, "You leave my wife out of this. I make my own lunch." Yes, it's a funny story, all right, but what does it mean? How many times have we said or done something that landed us in a difficult place in our lives? Self-inflicted wounds, things that we live with and just complain about every day. Instead of standing up, taking responsibility, and changing them, we just tolerate the outcome or look to point our finger and blame someone else. Maybe things like our past, our jobs, the economy, our partners, our mode of transport, our finances, our homes, our friends, our wardrobe, our family and relations, etc. Are you eating the lunch you have made for yourself and playing the victim so you can complain about the lack of the life you would rather be living? Do you blame someone else? If you make others responsible, how are you ever going to change it? Sitting on an airplane once, I listened to the air hostess explain the safety features, as they do every time before takeoff, but somehow, this time, I actually heard what she said. In the event of low air pressure, an air mask will drop down from the panel above your head. Be sure to put your own mask on first before attending to others. It struck me like a ton of bricks. I must sort myself out first before I can be of any value to my partner, my children, my employer, my clients, or my community. I often wondered, what is it on the inside of us that causes us to be interested in some specific topic, mission, genre, or area of life, especially when our family or friends don't seem to share that interest? I was curious that I couldn't remember choosing my interests. They seemed to have chosen me. Were my interests being manipulated by some unseen force? Could it be my future potential calling to me? Could it be that I was pre-wired to succeed in a specific area of life? How exciting could that be, that I am pre-wired for success? What I found to be true is this: what I know has gotten me this far. What I don't yet know can bring me much further. People are driven by their beliefs. Look around your home, your work, or your social environment. Look around your church, sports club, or political gatherings. Do you need more proof that birds of a feather flock together? I have no problem with that, providing the environment you are spending your time in is one that promotes growth in you and is beneficial to your journey. The beliefs on the inside of us are our programs, our apps, which contain our drivers, our motivations, our perspectives, and our resistance to change. These programs are built in us from birth according to our culture, our environment, our beliefs and traditions, our fears, our values, our history, and our temperament. How can we get outside these programs so we can see them for what they are? Like I said in the introduction to this book, sometimes it takes a tragedy, a sudden jolt, a loss, or a strong, decisive decision to step out of one environment and go to another. However, it is in that new environment that we can get access to those programs and change them. You become conscious of your daily routine, and the things you were doing on autopilot are now open to examination and evaluation. If understood, this can be a real opportunity to change some things in your life. You can become defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. But why wait for the sudden tragedy, shock, or trauma? Why not examine your current environments and the circumstances in your life as they are now? Which environments cause you to grow, and which stunt your growth? Why not change them, without having to deal with some other possibly negative situation or trauma at the same time? New environments bring new information. New information creates new thoughts. New thoughts lead to new choices. New choices lead to new behaviors. New behaviors create new experiences. New experiences produce new emotions, and those new emotions drive new thoughts. That sets up a very different set of possibilities for your life. You know you are attracted to certain things. Where does that attraction come from? What is on the inside of you that is calling you to pay attention to those things? What catches your attention is a huge clue to your inner self, something urging you to wake up and take notice. your destiny calling out to you, the something that you are programmed to do, destined to become, a mission to fulfill, that something that is looking for you. You don't choose your interests, they choose you. You came across them as if by chance, but it wasn't. It's hard to get interested in something that you are not interested in. You find you can spend hours on something that you are interested in, and time flies by, but struggle with something you need to do if you are not interested in it. If you cannot control what you are interested in, what does? Are your interests being manipulated by some unseen force? What grabs your attention? Why? Are you being directed by your potential you, your future you? When you decide to consciously take note of your interests and look for them, they will find you and equip you to grasp hold of them. That is where your happiness lives. There is one simple rule to which you must adhere in order to apprehend your innermost desires. You must build your character to be able to recognize and sustain them. That which you most need to find will often be found where you least want to look. What do you need to sacrifice in the present to realize a better future? Let's start with understanding your character. Do you actually know who you are? Let's get a clear picture of your current self-image. Do this exercise. Get a mirror. Go somewhere quiet where you won't be disturbed. Do it right now. Look at yourself closely. Look into your eyes. Ask yourself these questions. 1. Who am I looking at? 2. Who is asking that question? 3. Is that face before me the composite of other people's opinions that I've taken on board over the years? 4. Is it the result of my environment? 5. My upbringing. 6. Is it a mask I use to be acceptable to those around me? Is the voice in your head that's asking the questions different or separate from the face you are looking at? Do you have thoughts that you don't allow to show on your face? Are you disappointed or delighted, proud or ashamed of that face? Have you been true to it? Are you on the same team? Have a good look at those eyes. Remember, you don't see with your eyes, you see through them. Look at the lines that life has engraved on your face. You will probably recognize the pain, the laughter, the hope, the regret, the joy, the ambition, the stress, the surrender, the love, the rejection, and 100 other feelings and emotions that you have lived out with that face. So whether you like it or not, it's yours. Give yourself a break and say you like it. I may not know you personally, however. There are a few things I can tell you about yourself already. These are a few non-negotiable facts that you are just going to have to accept my word for until they become self-evident to you. 1. You are an amazing human. The chance of you ever happening in the first place is astonishing. A sperm is one of a few thousand. Maybe even a million sperm that had to fight its way through hazardous conditions to find your other half, the egg to fertilize, and you made it. Well done. Together you grew from 2 cells into a whole human being, with a body, a nervous system, and a brain that has incredible power to change not just your world, but the whole world. You have managed to survive any number of dangerous situations as you were growing up, and even more as an adult. It seems you've learned to read and probably write, dress yourself and make yourself something to eat. Not bad. 2. You have a brain that keeps your heart beating, your blood flowing in your hair, teeth, and nails, amongst other things, growing without any conscious effort on your part. 3. You have a mind that is connected to a universal intelligence that gives you an ability to be creative in all aspects of your life. In fact, you are creating the very life you are living in every day. 4. All you need now is to actively, consciously tune into that creative mind and start creating the life you want, if that's different to your current one, and I'm going to show you how. 5. You can be, do, and have all you want from life. First, you need to decide what it is you actually want. And 6. You are not as good as you think you are much better than that. We all have an image of ourselves, our self-image, a picture of our me, that we keep hidden in our head. It is that image that has a major influence in what we say, do, have, act, feel, etc. Where did it come from? Our DNA, our upbringing, our schooling, our friends, our environment, our religion, and our daily influences such as social media, TV, YouTube, films, websites, etc. Why is this image so critical in determining the course of our lives? because it is through the lens of these ideals and beliefs that we see and make judgments on the world around us. These judgments cause us to act in certain ways which bring into play the circumstances that we call our lives. Is this just the way it is? Are we locked into this life we have unwittingly built for ourselves? No. First, we must understand what's going on inside our heads before we can address the outcomes they bring. The key word here is understanding. We can be taught and we can learn, but we can also forget and unlearn. However, when we understand something, we don't have to try to remember it, because the understanding actually changes our brain structure and locks in the new information so we can build on that going forward. Every one of us has been given a powerful, yet generally unknown piece of equipment. It is specifically designed to help us with these situations where we desire to change the direction of our lives. It gives us power over what we think and how we can get the best results. If you can understand and apply it, it will change the course of your life forever. We will examine this powerhouse called psycho-cybernetics in a later chapter. I came to the conclusion that all the different areas of our lives, for example, culture, beliefs, environment, our history, values, education, temperament, and fears, all fed into one stream that led to a specific point. And that point, which took me a long time to figure out, is this: the stories we tell ourselves every moment of every day. Yes, running consistently in the background of our mind are stories about ourselves, the person we are talking with, the people around us, the other drivers on the road, our partners, our children, our coworkers, our boss, the shopkeeper, our neighbors, what we'll wear, what we'll eat, what we're going to do tonight or next week. That guy or girl is attractive. As a stranger walks past and distracts us for a moment, then it's back to our stories. My life is a mess. I hate my job. I need to make this sale. I didn't like what that person just said to me, but I'm having to smile anyway, and on and on. We're also running stories such as, I am not good enough. I just can't do that. I was never any good at those things. I'm not important enough. Nobody really notices me. I prefer to stay quiet in case I make a fool of myself. My ideas are usually not very good. I'm not a creative person. I'm unlovable, etc. We need to first become aware of the stories we're running, and then we need to work on changing them. Quote, "Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything." George Bernard Shaw.